Yeah, I think the Titans are gonna beat the Patriots.
Ooh, you
Um,
got the
I
Titans in the
think
Super
I
Bowl,
think I
huh?
have a little bit of a hot take there. I mean, they do have the better record. I
Mhm.
mean, maybe Derrick Henry will actually get into that game, and he'll be hopefully healthy.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm gonna say Titans are gonna be the AFC team to make it to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
guess yeah, we can finish off what you did too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'll go. Yeah. So I would have the Titans against the Steelers. Um, Honestly, I would have the Steelers winning that game too. I think it's going to be another big upset. I think the Steelers are going to make a deep run to the playoffs. And then the Bills and the Bengals, I'm going to have the Bills winning that game. And
okay.
then, yeah, either way, I would like to see the Bills play the Titans or the Steelers in the AFC Championship because they
Mm.
lost to both of those teams in the regular season.
Oh.
They played the Steelers week one, and so obviously, a team's identity week one versus end of the season going into the playoffs, it's night and day. And
Yeah,
then
totally.
against the Titans, that was a Monday night game, and that was a close game. That game came down to the very end. So I mean, yeah, I mean, either way, I'd like to see the Bills play the Titans or the Steelers. But yeah, I'm gonna have the Bills play against the Steelers, and they're going to show that obviously they're a much different team than they were week one, and I'm gonna have them beating the Steelers.
Okay. Good hot take there. So you have okay, so we have that settled. Now it's time for the NFC side of things. Do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, like I know I went over the AFC a lot earlier, but like NFC, it's a lot more interesting. Over the course of I don't know the past decade or so, the NFC's been I believe it's had more talent. Like the AFC was always it was the Chiefs than everybody else. And
Mm-hmm.
like in 2019, the Ravens had that 14-2 year where Lamar Jackson won MVP, but even then they lost in the divisional round against the Titans. And yeah, it's funny because the Titans actually beat the Patriots in the wild card game that year. But it seems like over the course of the past decade or so, the Tom Brady era in Foxborough, it was the Patriots then everybody else. Whereas in the NFC, it's anyone's game. And so we got the Bucks against the Eagles, the Cowboys against the Niners, and the Rams against the Cardinals. And it's really rough seeing the Rams, the Cardinals, and the
Yeah,
Niners,
I
but not the Seahawks
know.
in the division in the
Oh
playoffs.
man.
At the beginning of the year, if you would have said three of the four NFC West teams were in the NFC West teams were in the playoffs, and you said one of them wasn't Seattle, that I wouldn't believe you at first. But looking at it, I have I mean, the Bucks are going to beat the Eagles. I don't think it's even going to be close. The Bucks
Yeah.
or the Eagles. It's been cool seeing their running game because I mean they got Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, and Boston Scott. So they had like a three-headed monster in the backfield, which has been cool for them. And Jalen Hurts definitely made a big improvement from last season. And no matter what, the Eagles have three first-round picks, and considering that they have three first-round picks and they're a playoff team, that's insane in itself. So I mean, the fact that they even made it, they're on the rise. They have a lot of, I feel like they have a lot of potential going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that division last year was just a joke. And the Washington football team was the only one that was able to make the playoffs. And I think they went 7-9 last year. And even then they were out of all the playoff teams that the Bucks played last year. I mean, in the playoffs, like the Washington football team was the one that gave them a run for their money, and their defense
Mm,
looked legit. Then going into this season, they just sucked.
right.
But yeah, so I have the Bucks over the Eagles. I'm gonna have the Cowboys beating the Niners.
Hmm.
Dak, he's a ton of fun to watch. Their offense is electric. They got Zeke, they got Michael Gallup, they got CeeDee Lamb, they got Amari Cooper. They got Dalton Schultz at tight end. Like they have an electric offense. And
Right.
then Micah Parsons, he's up there for defensive rookie of the year. He's been an absolute beast. So yeah, I mean, I have the Cowboys beating the Niners, and then with the Rams and the Cardinals, uh, I'm gonna have the Rams beating the Cardinals. I honestly I don't think it's gonna be close, which is a big bummer. I can't stand the Rams. Of all the divisional teams, they're
Right.
by far my least favorite. It seems like they always have our number against us. But yeah, I mean, I like Matthew Stafford, I'd be much more afraid to go against him in the playoffs than Kyler Murray. But good for the Cardinals for at least Kyler Murray's third year in the league, and it's good for them for making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have the Rams. So I have the Rams going in the divisional round, and so of all the teams that win, the Rams would have the lowest seed, so they would play against the Packers in the divisional round, which that would be a good game. Seeing the Packers and the Rams play against each other and the Cowboys would play the Bucks. And those are two insane games right there. Seeing the Bucks play the Cowboys and then the
Ooh,
Packers playing the
yeah.
Rams. Hey man, I want to see. You can't bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs. You just
Yeah,
really
that's
can't.
true.
I have the Bucks beating the Cowboys, and then I have the Packers and the Rams. It's going to be a rematch of the NFC divisional round from last season.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, the Packers have had a good defense this year, and you don't want to bet against Aaron Rodgers. The only time you bet against Aaron Rodgers is in the NFC Championship game. But
Yeah, that's so
yeah,
true.
yeah, and it's cool seeing Cooper Kupp have the year he has
Oh
it
yeah,
has
he did
had,
great.
considering he's from Eastern Washington. So I always like to support local players. But yeah, so I'm gonna have the Packers beating the Rams, and then I'm gonna have the Bucks beating the Cowboys. So it's gonna be a rematch of the NFC Championship game last year of the Bucks against the Packers. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is gonna be out for revenge, and I'm going to have. That's the thing too. If I remember right, Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions in the NFC game, in the NFC Championship game last year against the
Oh,
Packers.
did he?
So yeah. But also at the same time though, they torched Kevin King. He was the one weak spot in their secondary. So Bucks against the Packers. It's funny because I made these predictions earlier about who I thought was going to be in the playoffs and who I wanted to be, but like both of those are just going out the window. There's who I want and who I think's going to happen, but I'm going to have the Packers beat the Bucks just because I hate the Packers and I want to see the Packers get to the Super Bowl just to lose it all.
Yeah, okay, that's a good take there. And for me, honestly, I have the same prediction for first round playoffs. So I do think Bucks are going to beat the Eagles. And speaking of supporting Washington players, I really want Minshew to move forward.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean the Eagles
But
clearly have the worst record out of anybody else in the playoff picture here. I guess they're kind of tied with the Steelers, but they got a tie. So I don't know. You could debate all
yeah,
that.
I don't know if Jalen Hurts is hurt. And it's funny because his last name is Hurts, but because and Jalen Hurts is their starting quarterback, and I don't know if Minshew played last week just because they were benching Hurts just because it was week 18. But yeah, I think at least for the time being, I'm almost positive that Minshew is the backup quarterback. So I think Jalen Hurts will be starting in the wild card game.
Yeah, and so yeah, I mean honestly, I haven't really been paying attention to the Eagles that much, but definitely Bucks. I really think they're going to beat them. And then for the Cowboys and Niners, yeah, like I already said, it's going to be the same as you. So I think Cowboys are going to beat the Niners. I mean, I just don't have faith in Garoppolo whatsoever. I really
Hmm.
don't have faith in him. And so compared to like Dak Prescott, yeah, Dak Prescott is by far a proven himself to be a much better quarterback. So Cowboys going to be the 49ers. I don't think it's going to be that close of a game. And then Rams and Cardinals, I think might be a close game, but like I said, I already said that it's the same deal as you. I think Rams are going to beat the Cardinals, but I think it will be a close game. But Rams are going to end up winning it. So with that being said, that means the next round, Packers are going to have to play the lowest seed, which looks like it's going to be the Rams. And then, of course, the Cowboys and Bucks will be playing each other. So for Packers and Rams, yeah, I think. Shoot, this is tough. I think. I think Packers can beat the
It's Matthew
Rams.
Stafford's first time in the divisional round because every time he's played for the Lions and they made the playoffs, they got knocked out first round.
True. Yeah, I'd say Packers will beat the Rams, and then for Bucks and Cowboys, I think Cowboys are gonna win.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna change it up a bit here, spice things up.
Mhm.
Brady. Obviously, he's pretty legendary. And I mean, but you got to remember, it's not just him; it's also the Bucks defense. That's also something you got to take in account for.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's a tough one. It really is. The Cowboys, I really think they're really proving themselves worthy. I know it's kind of like a meme in the NFL world where if you're not a Cowboys fan, you always have to like basically talk crap about the Cowboys all the time. But
Mhm.
but
Oh yeah.
I think Cowboys will beat the Bucks. I guarantee you it's going to be a close game if they do play each other. And so with that being said, obviously NFC Championship is going to be Packers and Cowboys. This is a
Ooh.
tough one. I mean, obviously, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers himself have been known to lose NFC championships quite frequently.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, and if Aaron Rodgers, if Green Bay does end up going to the NFC championship and losing, I would have to say that Aaron Rodgers is probably going to leave Green Bay. There's a good
Mhm.
chance. I really don't know who would win this NFC championship if this were to happen. You know what? Screw it. Screw it. I'm gonna lay a big one here, but I'm gonna say Cowboys are gonna end up winning it.
Wow. You're gonna have the
And
Cowboys going to the Super Bowl?
yeah, Cowboys and Titans are my Super Bowl predictions. I think that is what's gonna happen.
And who do you think's gonna win that game?
God, frick! This just gets harder and harder. If there was those two, Cowboys. I think Cowboys would win it.
You think the Cowboys are gonna win the Super Bowl?
I think. Yeah, that's my hot. It's a really hot take. I will
Yeah,
admit.
that is. But you know what? That's okay.
I mean, just statistically speaking, they can definitely beat 49ers second round, assuming they play the Bucks. I mean, that's probably when they would lose if that was the case. But
Mhm.
yeah, I say Cowboys Titans Super Bowl, Cowboys winning it all.
Okay, wow. Yeah, and then my Super Bowl, I'm gonna have the Bills. Yeah, like I said, I want the Packers to win and get to the Super Bowl just to lose it, and I want to see Josh Allen get a ring. That would be really cool. And it's funny because, like I said, I've been a Bills fan for well over a decade now, and I remember watching Josh Allen in college, and I did not like him like just because. I mean, he played for Wyoming. It was a small school, and anytime he went against, like, he played against Nebraska, which, I mean, Nebraska was a powerhouse in like the '90s, but they're not that good anymore. And he threw like 5 interceptions against them, and then he played against Oregon and didn't do well against them either. So I was like, okay, whenever he goes against bigger colleges, he doesn't do as well. And I was
Hmm.
like, when if he goes against the NFL, he's going against professionals. And like, but I mean, he had a lot of raw talent. Everyone was drooling over his arm because I mean he just had he could throw the ball like 80
Hmm.
yards. And but whenever the Bills got him, I was like, okay, now I have to cheer him on. I wanted to get Lamar Jackson at the time, but they drafted Josh Allen, and I mean now he's just, excuse me, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And he proved me wrong, and I am glad he proved me wrong. And I want to see the Bills get a ring because I mean, Brandon Beane, their GM, and then Sean McDermott, their head coach, they've really built something special in Buffalo. Because I mean, the Buffalo Bills have been bad. Like that was one of the reasons why I started liking them because they weren't good. They were my underdog team, and now
Hmm.
seeing them do as well as they have been doing, it's so awesome. Buffalo, they're such a passionate fan base, and it's good for them. I want to see them win it all. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, and oh man, I'm gonna listen back to this podcast and listen to our predictions, and then I'm gonna get ready for when the playoffs actually start. And I already there's probably gonna be like one game that's gonna screw us up. It's gonna be like watch the
At
Eagles,
least, yeah.
Eagles beat the Bucks or something. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah. That's the thing about the playoffs this year is like anybody could win it, and I'm excited to see
Hmm.
this, listen to this episode in a couple weeks, and just see how well or how poorly this aged. It's going to be funny regardless. But I'm like we are not experts by any means. We're just two guys just having fun with our own takes.
Yeah, we're
And,
just
like, do I think the Steelers are gonna make it that far? No, but I want to see them make it that far because it's Ben Roethlisberger's final year. I want to see them make it to the AFC Championship and fucking lose. I think that would just be funny.
yeah, and it's so funny because in our state, it just seems like there's so many Steelers and Cowboys fans for some reason. Why? I don't understand. And like they're just not Seahawks or Green Bay. That's another one. Green Bay,
Oh yeah, Green
Steelers,
Bay's a
and
big one.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Those are the three
And
teams.
49ers.
I don't really see 49ers too frequently around us,
Oh, I've
but
seen quite a few.
oh,
Yeah.
really? But yeah, Packers, especially Packers, Cowboys, and Steelers. I just see, for some reason, I see a lot of people fans of those around us, even though we are clearly a Seattle fan of Seahawks. So it's kind of funny how people don't root for the Seahawks, but they'll root for Green Bay. It's like, why? Because of
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers? Like, I don't get
Yep.
it.
Hmm.
But actually, I was going to ask you, Tristan, who is your least favorite player in the NFL right now?
Aaron Rodgers.
Really?
Yeah, it's always has been. Gotta give him credit where it's due. He's arguably the best quarterback in the league. It's just more so like he just you can tell that he doesn't like Russell Wilson. And that's the thing with Russell Wilson
Yeah.
too. Like I get why some people may not like him because he's positive all the time. Which I mean, it's easy to cheer him on, but at the same time, it's so easy to root against him because he seems borderline fake.
Okay.
And that's the thing too, because I mean, like Aaron Rodgers is an outspoken atheist, nothing wrong with that. And then Russ is like an outspoken Christian, nothing wrong with that. And
Right.
I remember, there was one time when the Packers beat the Seahawks, and Aaron Rodgers said something. He was like, he's like, God must be a Packers fan or something like that. It was something like that. He was like obviously
Oh, I
taking a
kind of
jab
remember
at
this.
Russ,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, and I was like, it was funny. Like, if I was a Packers fan, I think that would be fucking hilarious. But because I'm a Seahawks fan,
Oh
that
man.
pissed me off, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. So, no, fuck Aaron Rodgers. All the like the COVID vaccine stuff aside, like it's not even that. Like it's just the fact, yeah, I just never liked him. I've always thought he was a douchebag.
Yeah, and for
And
me,
even then,
oh
yeah.
sorry, do you
Oh,
want to keep going?
I was just gonna say, I was gonna say I didn't even like the Packers whenever they had Brett Favre. I've just never liked the Packers.
Yeah, and for me, I would say my least favorite player who actually wasn't in the NFL at the start of the season, but was Cam Newton. Uh,
Yeah, I'm not a
I
Cam Newton fan
hate
either.
him so much because it's just his ego or something. It's so
Hmm.
funny because clearly he has the potential of being a top tier quarterback in the current state the NFL is in right now. But
He's a freak athlete.
yeah, but like the problem with him is that he has such a high ego that like I feel like it just gets in the way of him potentially being better. Like I just feel like he's more about trying to show off and show who he really is rather than focusing on actually trying to get better and trying to be
Hmm.
really competitive against other teams. That's just how I personally see it, and I think it's really ironic how he's now back at the Panthers. And then of course it's like that one game they put him in, he's yelling in front of the camera, "I'm back," and then like he just fell off right after
Yeah. Hmm.
that. Like
That's the thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's basically just shooting himself in the foot at this point. Like,
Hmm.
it's just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
honestly, like seeing him declines made me like him more. I've never been a Cam Newton fan, but like I have a ton of respect for him just because I mean, whenever he was at Auburn, he went to Auburn for 1 year, and I can't name a single player on that roster, offense or defense, that went to the NFL and did well because
Hmm.
he took that team. He pretty much single-handedly took that team to the national championship and won, and they beat Oregon. So he pretty much just won a national title all by himself, and like that, he was insane. And it was. In the 2015 season, whenever they beat Seattle in the divisional round, which did not feel good, but
Hmm.
that was the year he won the MVP. He was a ton of fun to watch. Love him or hate him, he was a blast to watch. And but yeah, no, I'm not. That was like whenever he made it to the Super Bowl. I was rooting for the Broncos, not just because it was Peyton Manning's last year, but because I couldn't stand Cam Newton. But yeah,
They
I
went
mean, like
undefeated that year too, and
they
until
went
they lost.
15-1. Yeah, they lost one
That
game.
was the Super Bowl, wasn't it, or
Or
something?
they lost to the Falcons like towards the end of the
Oh
regular
yeah, it
season.
was might have been like their last game
Upset
of the
game,
season
yeah.
or so. Yeah, so yeah,
It was like one of them, yeah.
but
They went
that's right.
15-1, yeah. And they got the first round bye and they beat Seattle in the divisional round. They were just like destroying Seattle, and Seattle started to come back and they won the Panthers won like 31-24. And then they played against the Cardinals in the NFC Championship and destroyed the Cardinals. It wasn't even close. And then yeah, it was satisfying seeing them lose to the Broncos. And
Hmm.
yeah, no, I've never been much of a Cam Newton fan, but once he went to the Patriots and he started to not do as well. Like I started to like him a little more just because I felt like he'd get at least humbled. So
Hmm.
you're not constantly hearing about him anymore, which I can at least appreciate.
That's true.
Hmm.
And so we actually we've, oh my gosh, this whole episode is about football. I think I've already came up with the title. It's just going to be football, football, and more football. But
Yeah.
we are getting pretty close to the end. We have about like 8 minutes left or whatever.
Hmm.
Anyway, my point is that I want to bring up some of our best memories of football related, I guess maybe it's games or just football practice that we had, growing up. Obviously, I only played high school football since I was an eighth grader. But I know you obviously played with like little league and stuff like that. I don't know. Did you have any crazy stories? Because obviously, I experienced high school football with you when you went to my
Hmm.
school,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Like,
Junior
did you have any
year, yeah.
like memorable experiences when you played like when you were a little kid?
Like as a kid, yeah, I had some. Like my first year, I didn't get a single tackle. I was scared. Like I was watching football and I liked it, and I started playing, and there was like tackling drills and like going into games and hitting people. I wasn't really about that at the time, and it just like it scared me. I was afraid of getting hurt. It wasn't the fact
Mm,
of like hitting people that was off-putting to me. It was just the fact that I was always scared I was going to get hurt. And whenever you play scared like that, you're going to get hurt. That's just like
mm-hmm.
how it works usually. But yeah, I mean like a second season, I liked it more, but I still didn't like it a whole lot. And then when I was 12 and I played to like sixth grade, I liked it a lot more. But I'm a skinny guy and I was a skinny kid and they had me play at center, which was kind of weird. But I mean like I didn't do a bad job, but like, I actually didn't mind being a center, but I wanted to be a receiver. But I mean, at the time, we're 12. We're not obviously with our playbook. We were just running the ball a whole bunch, and
Yeah.
we had two really good running backs. We had like two of the biggest kids in the backfield as running backs, so we didn't really have to pass it. And then, but yeah, and like yeah, I've loved football. Like my first ever memories of watching football were Super Bowl 40 when the Seahawks played the Steelers, and I've been hooked ever since. Like I started watching the Bills more when I was 8 or 9, but I mean before that I've been watching the Seahawks since I think they went to the Super Bowl when we were in first grade. So I mean I've been watching football ever since, but that's my first vivid memory of watching football.
Yeah, and for me, when I first started playing football my eighth grade year, I was a huge pussy. I mean, I was pretty much mostly a pussy throughout high school too, honestly, when it came to football, because you have to be obviously be aggressive to play football. And I wasn't
Clearly.
really that aggressive. Like, as an offensive lineman, I was able to figure it out. Like, I was able to like figure out how to always block, and I would say, pretty decent for blocking compared to everyone else on the line. But for defense, however, it was always really hard for me to make tackles, mostly because I am not a fast person at all. Especially back in high school, I was not very fast, and
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't make too many tackles. Although my senior year, I started to tackle a lot more, and I played a defensive end. For those of you who are wondering, like, technically I played on both sides of the ball. Like, I played offense and
Yeah, we all
defense
did. Yeah,
and special
such a
teams.
small team.
Yeah, and literally there was nobody who can replace me. That was another thing. Is like since I was like one of the best blockers, like if we're looking at offensive wise, since I was like one of the best blockers on the offensive line, no, I never got substituted ever. It never happened. The only time I can remember getting substituted when I was eventually became a starter was our junior year.
Hmm.
We played against the
Yeah,
eighth grade team, and we kicked their
that
ass.
was so
And that was
bad.
the only time I ever got substituted. And also, they put me in a position. I don't even remember the position. I was like basically defending a receiver. They put me out there, and I had no freaking clue what I was doing. But it was like for one player or something. And I
Hmm.
recovered 3 fumbles that game. One of them I probably could have picked up and ran for a touchdown. I mean, I could have easily stiff armed those kids. But
Yeah, I scored two touch. I scored. I scored two touchdowns in that game.
Yeah, that game was a complete joke. And honestly, I don't know about you, Tristan, but for me, I had no clue we were playing eighth graders until we got
Neither
out on the
did
field.
I.
So, okay, so
Neither
that
did
means
I.
nobody knew. I'm just assuming nobody knew on our team that we were playing eighth graders. And I guarantee you, our coach did. I guarantee you he
Hmm.
knew, because I mean,
Yeah.
he's clearly set it up, that game.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just weird. That was really
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I scored one. Yeah, I scored like a 1 yard touchdown. Yeah. I was starting receiver and then I was corner, so on defense. And then I scored one touchdown in that game, and I remember Alex had like a pick six in that game. And it was like towards the end of the game, we were already destroying him, and we're like, "Stop, stop! They're already dead!" And he was
Yeah.
still running. And he ran all the way back. No, it was a pick six. But yeah. And I remember we played against another team, and it was at the field where I tore my ACL like a few years prior to that. In that game, I scored 4 touchdowns, but 2 of them got called back. And I remember
Oh, where you
that
tore your
was
ACL,
originally
that place?
yeah,
Okay, okay, I know
that
what you're
place,
talking
yeah.
about. Cool, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then like we originally thought it was just a freshman team, but it turns out it was their whole JV. And I remember we destroyed. We it was not even a close game.
That was a memorable
And
game for me. Oh, actually, sorry. Continue
yeah,
on. I'll say my
no, no,
part
no, no.
later.
I was just yeah. That's all there was to it. Yeah,
Okay,
that was
that was
one of the
yeah. I
games
would
for me too.
argue that our junior year was definitely the most memorable year for football for me. Obviously, my freshman year was pretty memorable too, because we actually went to the playoffs, and of course, we were like the lowest seed playing the highest seed, and we just got our
Mhm.
butts whooped on our first playoff. Like I remember, like I didn't play most of the game, but at the end they put me in at like defensive line or something, and I remember the guy I was like pushing up against, trying to get past him. He was like twice as big as me, and I literally just gave up. I'm like, there's no point of even trying. But going back to the other game that you were talking about, that was a memorable game for me too, because I think we really showed our skill against them, you know.
Oh yeah.
And the reason, and also keep in mind, our junior year, we were a JV only team because
Hmm.
most of the players were freshmen at the time. And kudos to that. I'm so
Yeah.
jealous their class, like most of them played football. I wish our class was like that.
Yeah,
But
I know.
but anyway, going back to that game, I remember it was kind of like, I want to say maybe in the third quarter of the game or second quarter, it was like somewhere in the middle of the game where if the other team, if they got a first down and made a touchdown scoring drive, they could get some momentum to come back and win. It was kind of like at that point. And so I think they went I don't remember if they went for it on fourth down or if it was a third down, but I remember their quarterback threw the ball to his tight end or receiver. I think it was their tight end at like a line of scrimmage, and I totally read it perfectly. Like as a defensive end, like I never read this stuff like at all. Like I'm so bad at it, but I read it so perfectly, and I was able to tackle him as soon as he caught the ball. And you, Tristan, you're just like,
Is
oh my
that
god, is that Spartacus? Yeah, that was so memorable. And yeah,
I remember
and
that.
I think that really crushed them when they couldn't get that first down on that drive. So I think we really sealed the deal right after that. That was just like probably my most memorable moment. But
Yeah.
that,
But
yeah.
yeah, my most memorable overall football memory was whenever Thomas puked on the
Yeah, I
bus.
mean, yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. That was, and didn't we do like we had like some dinner with the cheerleaders or whatever, and we did a skit
Yeah.
of them throwing.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. Like, we did do that towards the end of the year. But yeah, I mean, we were a JV team technically, and we did 8-man football because our roster was so small. But we
Hmm.
played a couple varsity teams, and we won. I can't remember our record against the varsity teams, but that was the one varsity team we played against, and we got destroyed. And that was their. It was like a 5-hour drive to get there, and
Oh
we got
my god,
destroyed. And
yeah.
it was their homecoming game. So I mean, it was like their big moment. You know, happy for them that they won, whatever. But I remember after that, yeah, we all had a bunch of fried chicken as like our dinner after the game.
Yeah.
And, like we hung out by the field and we all ate fried chicken, and then on the way back, yeah, like people were asleep because it was midnight about, and like we didn't get back to like midnight, 1 in the morning, and we're like a half hour away from home, and then yeah, Thomas like woke up in the in like the middle of a dream. And he woke up and like projectile vomited out the window, but he was like in the middle of the bus, and people behind him had their windows cracked, so the puke just went back in. I remember your
Yeah.
brother got puke like all over
Yeah,
his
I was actually just about
glasses.
to bring it up. He thought it was like, cause yeah, he thought it was just rain because he felt like sprinkles coming down. He's like, oh, this is like
Hmm.
refreshing, and then he realized it's freaking puke on him. Yeah, it's so gross. Oh gosh, yeah,
Yeah, I
that's.
was I was one of the lucky people that didn't get puke on
Oh
him.
yeah, me neither. I think I was in front ahead of him or something like that. But oh, gosh, thank goodness. Really, really crazy times during sports. I'm so happy I played sports in high school. There's so many memories. Like if I didn't do sports at all, I would not have probably good memories from high school. If I'm being completely honest with
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah. And then there's people out there that are hesitant about playing sports. At least give it like at least play for 1 year. At least give it a go. Like like
Hmm.
no matter what, no one's ever gonna take that away from you.
Yeah.
It does get annoying like whenever people are out of high school and they use that as a personality trait. They're like, "Hi, I'm so and so. I'm 26 and I played sports in high school."
Yeah, don't put it like if you're someone who's out of high school and you're not playing sports anymore, don't bring up the fact that you're an athlete because you're not. Like, just don't do that on your Tinder profile. Like, come on, guys. But only
Yeah.
do it if you are a college athlete. I have huge respect for college athletes. Like, not that I've ever been a college athlete, but I recognize that not only are they going to school like I am in college, but they're also like constantly like working out and going to practice every single day, even when like the season isn't even going on. They're still practicing like every day, and so
Oh, yeah.
they're taking up being an athlete just takes up so much of your time. And of course I'm like really jealous of them too. I think it would be an honor to play for a college team, whether it's a community college, a smaller league, a university, or whatever the case may be. As I think it would be awesome to like have that opportunity, but unfortunately I wasn't that good in high school. I never, honestly, like looking back on it, I didn't try as hard as I did in my senior year, especially with basketball. Oh my goodness, I remember like going into my very first practice of my senior year for basketball, and I was like so motivated to like just do better because I was just like, this is my last. I know for a fact that this was my last year ever playing. Like I wanted to like do my best, and sure enough, I did improve a lot. I remember like during the first half, I want to say of like one of our last games of the season, I had 100% accuracy when it came to my shots, and
What were the most points you had in one game?
oh god, that's embarrassing. I don't even want to. I don't even know.
Oh,
Honestly,
oh
like
really?
maybe I can remember getting at least 12 points in a single game, but
Solid.
I don't know if I've
Bigger
gone more than
post,
that.
you know, that's not bad.
Yeah, I don't know if I got more than that. Our coach our junior year, or sophomore and junior year, he wasn't really that great. I was really disappointed in
Yeah.
him. My junior year, I realized a lot of like his coaching mistakes, and like, cause there was against one team who was like extremely tall. Like everyone on the team was like over 6 feet tall, and they completely butchered. They were like butchering us when we went to play on their court. And I remember at halftime. My coach just went in there for a second and in the locker room, and he was just like, it's like, all he said was like, well, at least he didn't make that dunk or something like that, because one of them did try to dunk
Mhm.
it, and I can't believe he missed it too. But and that was like all he said in the locker room. It was just dead quiet for the rest of like halftime, and all I could think to myself is like, oh my fucking god, like, are you not gonna like at least get mad at us? Like, I don't know. It's just like he didn't do anything. I'm just like, well, shit. Now we're gonna go back out there without any like advice how to do better and stuff. I don't know. It really pissed me off, and I was really thankful for our coach that we had our senior year, because he came back after leaving my freshman year, I believe. And so yeah, I think he did a tremendous job. There's like some things he said that like really motivated me, I think, to even try really hard my senior year. And so yeah,
Mhm.
either way, yeah, I definitely tried a lot harder my senior year of basketball, even though I definitely don't consider myself that good of a player either way. Football wise, I feel like offensive line, I definitely got better my junior and senior year. I was always pretty good. Like, I made some mistakes. I eventually became the center, and I started snapping the ball, which I did not like doing that. And so basically my job was just to remember the snap count for the most part, but I made some pickups
Yeah.
there too. But defensive wise, I was just never really good on defense when it came to football, but offense, I was always pretty good about blocking my guy. So I don't know. That's just how it was for me back in high
Yeah,
school.
short story here. I remember my third year playing, so it was whenever I was 12. It was like our last game of the year, and I remember it was on set. So it was on set, and I forgot the what the count was, and I was the center, so I thought it was on one. So whenever the quarterback yelled "set," everyone went and jumped off sides. Everyone jumped off sides except for me because I didn't hike the ball.
Yeah.
And it was like third down. It was like third and short too. I messed everything up. It was really embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And people, some people we went to high school with are gonna like listen to this, and they're gonna listen to like what I just said about myself as an athlete in high school. And they're like, "That's cap. You were the dog shit. You're the worst." I don't know. I mean, I don't think I was like the worst player on the team, but I definitely knew I was not a good athlete at all. Like, there's no way I would have been able to compete at college level at all. I really don't think I could have done it. For you, Tristan, like, I felt like you were pretty fast. Obviously, football was like your only sports, and so actually, did you play
Yeah.
baseball junior year?
Yeah, I did. I kind of played baseball junior year. Yeah, I mean, I was just lazy, you know. Like I was really athletic. Like there was no reason why I couldn't do well. I just like I don't really have a whole lot of sports stories to tell just because I just didn't try. I mean, looking back, like, do I regret it? I mean, yeah, sure, but I mean, I don't lose sleep over it. You know, like what I look back on is that I played and I got to hang out with my friends and have a good time.
Yeah, and it totally just occurred to me that our junior year in the yearbook, I did get voted most athletic in our class, but that's only because I think, when you look at who played sports in our class, Cooper played all three sports,
Mhm.
basketball, football, and baseball, but he already got voted for like biggest flirt. So,
Yeah.
so other than I was like
Fitting.
next on the list for like who played the most sports or whatever. Now that I think about it, yeah, was there anyone else? Because I mean, obviously you did baseball and football, but you didn't play basketball, you didn't do winter sports.
Yeah.
I try to think. Was there anybody else?
And the only reason
Senator.
I was on varsity for baseball was because I was the fastest player on the team and I was a pinch runner. That's all I was. Like I didn't hit the ball a single time.
Oh, really? You didn't?
Yeah, I was horrible at baseball when it came to like hitting the ball, but like I was just fast. I was just a good pinch runner.
Yeah, so you're lucky that you were always fast. I was never fast in high school, and it's funny now because all I do is really cardio. I wonder. I mean, I still don't think I'm that fast, but after doing that one game where it was, oh my gosh, the alumni game just last fall,
Mhm.
and I really wish you did it, Tristan. I tried to get
Yeah,
you to
I
do.
wanted to see. Yeah, I know. I couldn't make it because of work. I had my cleats in my car and I was like getting ready to go, and I wasn't able to make it in time. I was so bummed. If they have another one next year, or if they ever have another one, I'm definitely gonna go.
Yeah, I don't remember if I told you this, but did you Drew Pater was on my team. I haven't seen him.
But he went, really? Are you serious?
Yeah, I know. I was shocked. I think he works
Yeah,
at the mill. I can't actually no. I don't know if he works
yeah.
at the mill. I can't remember. I talked to him for a little bit though. But yeah, he was on my team. Like I didn't recognize him at first because he has a beard now. And so yeah, anyway, he was on my team. We ended up winning, of course, which was
Yeah, he went
cool.
to Darrington in like middle school. He didn't even go to high school in Darrington.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, yeah, I thought that was really cool. But after,
Oh,
but
yeah,
you know,
you're
as
gonna
someone,
have to bleep that out. God damn it!
I know, I just
I
realized
swear
that.
it's
Yeah. To be fair, there's a lot of places with that name though. But
Oh yeah.
but anyway, my point being, playing in that game, even though I was extremely sore the next day, like, oh my God, my body was just aching in pain, it felt like, but I actually felt like I was still pretty athletic, you know, running down the field, trying to like, you know, I quote unquote tackle someone, but it was flag football. So we just like, you know, pull the flag.
Yeah.
I made, I think I made maybe a couple sacks, yeah, or something like that. But I don't know.
Solid.
I don't know. It was pretty fun. I mean, obviously it was just flag football, but you know, I felt like I was pretty athletic. Obviously, there was a lot of like a lot older guys there, so obviously they're not
Yeah,
really gonna be in shape as me.
yeah.
So that's to be fair there. But yeah. Anyway, I just had to bring that up. I don't know. I was really fun. I'm really happy I did it, even though I was sore for like the next 3 days. It was totally worth it.
Yeah, I was legitimately bummed that I wasn't able to make it. I was definitely. If there's ever another one, I'm definitely gonna.
I hope they do it. I thought that was really cool, and that was actually technically our school's homecoming game. So you could say I played
right?
in my high school's homecoming game as a 22-year-old, and it's really fitting considering our senior,
super senior.
yeah, yeah. And what's really fitting is our senior year, we got robbed from our homecoming game because we were supposed to play that one team near us. I'm not gonna say it, but and they ended up canceling because there was like a really bad storm. There was like a tree on the highway or something like that.
Lightning, yeah.
And then when they came to rescheduling their game, we had to play on their field twice. And like that rescheduled game we had, our homecoming game, ended up being their homecoming game. And it was just, I was like, oh, it was just so, it really pissed me off because our athletic director did not stand up for our school. It was so stupid. But yeah, either way, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. We're almost an hour and 10 minutes into this. Actually, is there any last things you want to mention, Tristan? Actually, I really enjoyed this conversation. Just football talk, sports talk. You know, we got to do something more like this. Maybe I'll have to add another category to this podcast. Oh, that totally freaking reminds me. Our podcast is now on Spotify. So make sure you guys go ahead and check it out. I'll make sure there will be a link in the description so you guys can go ahead right to it. I'm pretty sure I can add it to Apple Podcasts as well. I'm pretty sure it's like a flip of a switch. That's like, I think it's as easy as that because it's basically already uploaded on the hosting site, whatever. I don't know. It's super weird how it works. Anyway, I figured it out. It is on Spotify. If you just search up The Landing, I don't think it will pop up for you. It has not popped up for me, so I'll just make sure to have a link in the description so that'll take you directly to our, I guess, podcast on Spotify. Go ahead and check it out if you don't want to listen to it on YouTube. I totally get that. You know, you can actually have your phone turned off and listen to it, unlike YouTube. But yeah, sweet. Also, if you guys for some reason are not subscribed to my channel, make sure you do so. It's the Spartacus 200. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're listening on Spotify and you're not actually listening to this on YouTube, yeah, it's literally the capital THE and then Spartacus. If you don't know how to spell Spartacus, then FU. I've had with a capital S and then 200, no spaces. There's a lot of people who like I'll tell them my YouTube name and they're like, "How do you spell Spartacus?" I'm like, just sound it out. Like it's not hard to spell at all.
Sparkiss.
Yeah, there you go.
Spartacus.
Spartacus. But yeah, so if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go do so. I am mostly a Call of Duty YouTuber. If you're into that, go ahead and check it out. Also follow me on Twitter. Oh my gosh, there's like a lot of things I have to bring up at the end here. But I think that's everything. I think that's it. Okay, that is it for the episode. Stay tuned for another episode next week. We'll try and get more guests to come here on the show. I do have a couple of people that I could probably fit in here. We'll have to see how things go. But yeah, make sure you stay tuned every week for a new episode, and we'll catch you guys later.
Go Bills.